Now we're going to be grading on 5 what we call pillars at iMiddle. They're going to feed into the grade they get. The grade, just like the grade they'll get at OMS North. Except we're going to have 5 pillars that we teach, 5 pillars that we grade on. The first one's going to be knowledge and thinking. Just like they do down in North, just like they do here at Estes, we're going to grade how well you know the content. Okay? Second thing we're going to teach, second thing we're going to grade on is collaboration. If you're going to do project-based learning, you're going to be working in groups a lot. So we want to teach them and we want to grade on collaboration, how well they work together. Okay? We're also going to grade on agency. Agency is how much ownership the student puts into the work. Okay? Are they following directions? Are they showing up on time? Are they bringing the right materials? Are they doing their part for the group? We're going to grade on agency. And the final 2 things we're going to grade on are oral presentation and written presentation. Because the majority of the time when you have a project, you either have to write about it or you have to talk about it. So those are the 5 areas that we're going to grade on that's going to feed into their 1 grade that they get. Okay? Just like at OMS North. Okay? And just like at OMS North, we're still going to have English class, we're still going to have math class, still going to have social studies, still going to have science. Okay? And we're still required to teach the same Kentucky State standards as all schools. But like I said, how we get there is going to be a little different. We're going to use project-based learning. Okay? A few of the other courses, we're going to have a few different courses than OMS North. Now, students that go to iMiddle are still going to be able to do the performing arts. Okay? They're still going to be able to do the band, the orchestra, the choir, the drama, all those classes they want, that'll still be offered. Okay? But what we want to do is we want to have some other courses that are specific to iMiddle. Courses like coding, where they can figure out to build apps and games for their technology. Courses like robotics, where they can build machines that perform certain tasks. And if they're good enough, they can compete against other schools. We have one at the Owensboro Middle School North. There's going to be a competition Saturday. I'm going to go help judge. Okay? We want to have a computer ethics class, where if we're going to give them a one-to-one initiative, which by the way, students at iMiddle will get a laptop, students at OMS North will get a laptop. But I want students to be able to take a computer ethics class and not only learn how to use their computer, but learn how to use it correctly. Okay? Because if we don't teach them how to use these things correctly, then a laptop can become a weapon. Okay? And you guys all, I see a bunch of nodding, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? We want to have a debate course. If you're going to be in project-based learning, a lot of times you're going to be on one side of the issue or the other. Okay? We want students to be able to have civil discourse. Be able to talk to each other and disagree without being disrespectful. Okay? I think that's much needed in our society right now. Okay? So we're going to have a few other courses that are going to be a little bit different than OMS North. Okay? We're also going to share our sports teams. So in the football, basketball, cheerleading, both students from both schools will be able to participate on those teams. Okay? Now, and I'm talking about project-based learning not just because I've read about it or watched other schools do it. I was able to be with Owensboro Innovation Academy when we started over 3 years ago. And that's why I'm here tonight, is because I'm a believer in project-based learning. I've seen what it can do. And there's my 2 favorite parts about project-based learning is what we will do at iMiddle is we will teach your child how to learn and why they learn. Okay? I think elementary schools do a great job of having our students learn to love learning, to have a love for school. They do a great job. I think our job in middle school needs to be help them learn how to learn. So when they go on to college, they go on to high school, their jobs, no matter what's presented to them, they'll be able to learn it. Okay? And we saw that the how at OIA when I was there was amazing. We went through a process. Every time we had a project and we introduced it, we had a process that students went through. No matter how big or how small the project. We'd give them a task and they'd go through and make a list of what do I know that's going to help me complete this task. And we'd make a list. Do we need to refresh on any of these things? We make that list. We make another list. What don't we know that's going to help us complete this project? We make a list. Well, we need to know this. We got to know this. Then we make a third list of how are we going to learn what we need to know? How are we going to learn what we need to know? Okay, and the students help create that list as well. So it's very student driven. Once you have those 3 lists created, you should be able to complete the task. And that's what we want to go through. Every single project we go through, we want to be able to follow that process. That's the how of learning. That's my favorite part about project-based learning. And the why comes from having projects that are real world. Okay, and if we're going to have real world projects, I want to bring the real world in. I want to have our community come in and help us with these projects. Because in middle school, they start to ask this question, and we've all asked it before too. When are we going to use this? When am I ever going to use this? If you can't show a child when you're going to use it, then why are you teaching it? Okay, so I want to have the community come in, and when I was at OIA, they had helped me introduce projects and give it immediate relevancy. They'd help me deliver content, and they'd help me come back and judge projects when they were done, help give feedback. So I want the community in iMiddle. The community will help us teach your child. Those are my two favorite pieces about project-based learning. If you look behind me, a lot of you have been looking at these photo renderings of what our building will look like when it's done. Starting next semester, we have $11 million worth of work going into the South Campus or future iMiddle. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to make our building project-based learning friendly. So we're going to have dynamic rooms that have walls that can go up and down. That way, if my English class wants to have a project with my social studies class, you lift a wall, now you've got the space to do it. Okay? We're going to have a lot more window, open walls. So when we have the community in, they can come and see what we're doing. They don't have to go into the classroom. They don't have to disrupt learning. We want people to come in the community, you guys, to be able to see what we're doing. Okay? We're going to have a brand new bus canopy, brand new front office area. We're going to have breakout spaces for small group instruction. Okay? Whether it's a booth, a hot top table, or outdoor classroom, we're going to have areas specifically around our building so small groups can work. We want to make our building project-based learning friendly. Okay? Our teachers, and really having the dynamic walls is one of the requirements of being part of the New Tech Network. Okay, if you go on our website and you look around, you'll see things about New Tech Network. It's a network of about 200 schools throughout the nation who use project-based learning. And they connect us with other schools. They give us tips for when we're doing construction projects. They give us an online learning system that has thousands of projects from across the nation that we can use or modify. They help with training. They give us a coach that comes down and helps us with our projects and makes our projects more robust. They have a conference we go to. We'll do a residency at a project-based learning middle school to help us strengthen our instruction and strengthen our projects. So we are part of the New Tech Network. So when you guys research project-based learning, you may run across New Tech Network. That's who we're a part of. They're an excellent organization. They've helped OIA get off the ground and do what they need to do to become a successful school. Those freshmen that we started with 3 years ago are now seniors, and the way and the distance they have come is amazing. The type of student they've become are absolutely jaw-dropping. Okay? And I've seen it. When I was a part of OIA, it changed my view of education forever. That's why I'm standing right here talking to you. Okay? But like I said, guys, I'm not here to sell iMiddle. Okay? I'm here to give you information so you can make the best choice for your child. So we can find the best place for them to learn, the best place for them to be successful. That's it. Okay? If you think it's at OMS North, that's great. If you think it's at iMiddle, that's great too. But that's really what I want, is for every one of our students in our district, when they're going into middle school, to find the best spot for them. Okay? And you guys kind of know, because you went through direct instruction, you went through the traditional school, you know what that looks like. So kind of a lot of what I've been talking about is project-based learning. So take that, compare it to what you know and what you've been through, and then you have to kind of judge for yourselves and make a choice. Okay? I always get the question, what kind of student goes to project-based learning? Any kind of student can be successful. Any kind of student can be successful. It's that you have to be open-minded. And if there's one thing that I've learned in my experience with middle school students is that they are open-minded. Okay? Because they're going to come from learning a certain way for 5 years. And then we're going to ask them to learn a different way. So you have to be open-minded. Okay? If they can give us that, then we can get them to where they need to be. So, I've said a lot here. I think you guys have got some questions brewing. So let's start the Q&A portion of the evening and field some questions. Next year, just real quick, next year we'll be 6th and 7th grade only. And then the year after that, we plan to add a grade to be 6, 7, and 8, just like our North Campus. So, question.
How do you apply for the schools?
Well, in about 2 or 3 weeks, in early December, we're going to release the application. You'll have over Christmas break to fill that out and talk about it. In January, we'll take applications and start accepting students. What we want to do is we want to have an equal representation from all our elementary schools. We want iMiddle to look like OMS North, to look like OHS, to look like our demographics. So we're going to have a certain amount of spots for every elementary school. And if we have too many from an elementary school from one particular, we'll do a lottery. And it's not a merit-based. We're not going to say because Susie's got A's, she gets president over Johnny who gets C's. It's not merit-based. Okay? We believe project-based learning can work for any level child. Okay? And that's what we're going to accept on. That's what we're going to do the application for. Good question. Yes?
So in sports, if she runs cross country, will she stay on the same team or will it have?
Same team.
Okay.
Both of them, same team. They'll all feed into one team. Good question. Yes?
So I understand there's applications, but I mean, once it's done, you pull, I mean, so what, you're just gonna randomly pick? Like, how do you know?
Well, there will be, like if I have 20 slots for Estes and 25 apply, I'll have to randomly draw 20 names. Yeah. Yes, sir.
My only question is about how many classrooms will there be?
About how many classrooms will there be?
Yeah.
Well, a bunch. We'll have a bunch. We'll have probably 30 classrooms, but with dynamic walls, that could become 15 if we raise all the walls. So that answer can change. We could have a bunch of tiny rooms, or we could have a few big rooms. So that's, at iMiddle, that number could change. We're gonna have enough classrooms for everybody.
The child's struggling a little bit there, do they have the opportunity to go to the other middle school if they can't?
Well, what we want to do is we want to do that and maybe reevaluate that mid-year and end-year. We can't just allow the free flow going back and forth and have 100 students want to come down to iMiddle or 100 iMiddle students want to go to North. We don't have the resources to let that happen freely. But of course, at the end of the semester, at the end of the year, we reevaluate and we can look at those kind of things. But we also have to remember that they're middle school students. They're going to struggle no matter where they are. And some of them are going to want to be at the other place no matter where they are. That's just middle school students. The grass is always greener, you know. But we have to work through that, keep in communication, push them through that wall, whether they're at North, whether they're at iMiddle, push them through that wall and get them to where they need to go. Yep, good question. Yes?
With this gonna be a new school, are they still adopting the anti-bullying policy as well?
Yes, we will have an anti-bullying policy that'll match OMS North.
Okay.
Yep. Question here, did you have a question?
Yes. Will the forms be in paper form?
We'll have both. The application will be both in paper form and it'll be an online Google form that you can fill out. So we'll have both.
Okay.
Question?
If they don't get in sixth grade and they have opportunity to get in seventh grade?
Yes, they will. Every year have a chance, if you didn't get in the 1 year, to do it the next year. If you're accepted in 6th grade, you're automatically in for 7th and 8th. Question?
I guess the question is it going to be like a dress code? Do they have to have like uniforms?
There will be uniforms, there will be a dress code. Our dress code will probably match OMS North. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Will this be a good alternative for a student with dyslexia?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a good opportunity for any child with any kind of need, and that's kind of what that's what I've been a part of, and that's what I've seen is that students with any kind of needs, they can be met through project-based learning. Yes.
Is this something that we potentially do throughout both high schools? I mean, I feel like every teacher wants to benefit from it.
Right, and that's one of those things where down the line, maybe if they could spread to other campuses, if we see that it's a need, then we can definitely do that. I agree, and that's at both campuses. If they have practices we want to adopt at iMiddle, then we're going to do that. If we have practices they want to adopt at North, we're very open. We have a great relationship. It's been a great building iMiddle with North. They've been a great partner. So it's not going to be an us versus them. We are one student body. It's just two different methods of teaching.
I just kind of want everybody to have the opportunity to at least try it as well, because I hate that there's such a small.
Right. And you're right. And there probably still be pockets at North of teachers who do pockets of this, but not as a whole school. So yeah. Yes.
On the extracurricular activities, would that be centered at the middle school, or would they go, or at iMiddle, or would they, like how OIA goes
Right.
out to the different?
Right. Most athletics are probably going to be centered down at North since they have the courts and the fields and those things like that. But there may be some things that we meet down at iMiddle campus. Like I said, we're going to be one campus, but most meet down at North.
Okay.
Yes. Question?
What about once they reach high school, like if they've gone through 6th, 7th, and 8th grade doing this project-based learning, how will the transition be for them to go back to the traditional learning in high school? Or will
Right.
this program like actually follow through?
Well, and they also have the option of going at the end of 8th grade, they can go to OIA, which has project-based learning, or they can go to OHS, which is the traditional model. And we have seen success from students transitioning from project-based learning back into traditional. Okay, we have success. We've seen that. Then the New Tech Network has data on this, as of students who have come out of high school doing this, go to a college where it's back to traditional, and they're having higher graduation rates, better grades, those kind of things. So it's a good transition. You know, it's harder to transition into it, but transitioning back into traditional learning, there seems to be an uptick to that. Good question. Yes.
As for the classrooms, will they bring home, like books or things like that to learn and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you'll still have books, and you'll still have computers and things online that you'll need to learn. Yeah, there'll still be, those kind of resources will still be available. But they'll just be embedded within, they'll be using those to complete the task. Yes. Good question.
So
Yes, in the back, sir.
Everybody's working in groups. What happens if somebody's not pulling their weight, and does that affect everybody's grade?
Right. Even with working in a project and working in a group, you still get individual grades. Now, we have certain contracts and policies and protocols that we teach them when working with other people. We'll have group contracts that clearly lines out what expectations there are for the group. Okay, we have group roles, clearly define what everybody's supposed to do. Okay, we'll have next steps where what do you need to do next time we meet, what's everybody need to have done, which kind of creates your homework. But we do have, at OIA, they have the 3-strike rule. If somebody violates the contract 3 times, they're out of the group, they gotta do the project themselves. Okay? So again, it's about learning how to hold each other accountable while trying to complete a task, which is what we do. You know, there's very few jobs in this world anymore where you don't have to work with somebody to complete something. Okay, so we've got to start teaching those social skills, those soft skills, those group dynamic skills. We've got to start doing that. We've got to start teaching them how to work together at this age. Question?
So if one of our children was to be further along in the school, like in their schooling, like they're at a 7th or 8th grade level in
Right.
their math, would that affect anything within the school? How are you guys gonna go about?
Well, what we do there is students who are further down the line, you know, that's a chance for a project to go deeper. To where maybe we have for a certain area, certain people in the class, we have this project for those who are more advanced or further along, we make that project deeper, more robust. So they can do, and then we can meet them where they are. That's a great option. That's what I loved about doing project-based learning is I could have all different levels, and I could take one project, and I could either make it here, or this group I could make it a little deeper, this group could over here, deeper over here, so you can design your projects to do that, to meet those needs.
Because that's kind of what I'm experiencing with my kiddos is, as the direct learning is right now, there's not, unless you separate them from everybody,
Right.
they can't learn ahead of everyone.
Right.
And that's not fair to anyone's child to be separated because they learn faster than the other children.
Right. And that's what we try to do with project-based learning is meet every student where they are so we can push them forward. Good question. Good question. Yes. Yes.
So are all subjects learned via project-based learning, so like math, like algebra and geometry
Yes.
and all that kind of thing? would
Yes.
be
All
projects?
subjects. And with math, they don't call it project-based learning, they call it problem-based learning. So you'll take a math problem and kind of dissect it, more like taking the word problems that we're used to, the word problems, and making those more robust and actually doing those word problems to where you can work it out. So it's more problem-based than it is project-based, but it's still the same principles, we still follow the same protocols and practices. Yes, sir.
I know how y'all do all the stuff online, but what if someone doesn't have a way on the internet?
Well, then we'll let them use our internet. And we'll have time even outside of class that they can use. If they want to do after school, before school, we'll have times where they can come use our internet and make sure they can get that stuff done. Great question. Now, if you come work for me, buddy. Yes.
So what would like a week stretch out or a day's, nights of homework look like?
Homework comes from what I mentioned earlier, is when you get with a group, and this is a typical day. Is if you're with a group and we're meeting and we're working on our project, before we leave, before our group separates, there's a document. We fill out, what are you going to do before we meet again? What are you going to do before we meet again? What are you going to do before we meet again? We got all these things done before we meet again so we can continue progressing towards our goal. So that is your homework. When you go home, you need to complete this for the project. When you go home, you need to complete this. When you go home, you need to complete this.
So they'll have their own individual tasks.
And yeah, in some cases, some of it, that may be the same task. We may all need to come back with the same thing to the group. So yes, that's where most of your homework comes from. Some of it will come like traditional. You'll do a workshop. Students will say, Mr. Moore, I need to know, we've got to know ratios to be able to do that. And I don't want to get on Google. I don't want anybody. My friend can't tell me, will you teach us? And I'll, boom, here we go. You guys said that you wanted me to teach you ratios. We're going to do it right now. It's not me saying, hey, you guys got to learn ratios. It's them saying, Mr. Moore, we got to know ratios. Can you help us? Sure, I'll help you. Here we go. That's a difference. There's a difference there. They're saying that they need to learn it. Not me saying, guys, get your pencil out. We're going to learn this. They say, listen, I need to learn this to be able to do this. And that's how we do it in the real world. We learn things so we can complete tasks. Okay? And learning that comes from the desire to complete a task sticks. It sticks more. Okay? It makes more connections through the brain and you remember it. Great question. Yes, sir?
Or do you get a hard drive, like, to put all your stuff on, like your homework?
You'll get a computer that has the Google Drive. You can put anything on it. You get your own Google account that you can put in the cloud. You put everything in the cloud up there. Yes, ma'am.
And you guys are monitoring, like, their learning, that we should have been.
Yes, and what we do for a project, and I'm glad you asked that, throughout a project there are benchmarks where we check for learning. And check to make sure we don't need to redirect. Okay, because sometimes kids get in a project, they may want to go this way. As a teacher, or what we call facilitators, New Tech likes to call them facilitators, you got to ring them back in. Okay, and that's why you have benchmarks. If I have a 2-week project, I may have every 3 days a benchmark to check for learning, check for understanding, see where we are. Okay, that's a good question. Right here.
Oh, no, I'm good.
You good? Oh, I thought you had it.
My question,
Good.
I'm good.
Good.
One in the group is struggling, and, because they're just not catching on to whatever it is.
Right.
How does that work?
A couple of different ways. When a group member is struggling, usually it's the group who helps them out, in my experience. Now, sometimes that doesn't always work, so the teacher will have to come in and check with those benchmarks and check back for learning, and they're maybe trying to reworkshop some things. You're not getting this ratios, you guys come with me, we're gonna go reworkshop this. You three are not getting it, come with me. We're gonna workshop this again.
So we have to stop them from
Yes.
slipping through?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that'll help the entire group. Yes, ma'am.
So whenever they do open this, are they gonna do like a traditional parents come in and meet the teacher night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see the building, and yeah, we'll do all that.
Alright, I
Yes.
just want to make sure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We still do all the standardized tests that,
Yes,
you know,
all the
so
tests,
Still
we're-
have those throughout the
Still
year.
have the standardized tests and still have to cover the same content. Yes, correct.
So what's the typical group size?
It depends. I would say probably 4. In my experience at OIA, a typical group was 4. That way you could have jobs, and you could have everybody could have a particular role in the group. 4, but I also did projects that weren't groups. I also did projects where there were partners. And I did a project once where half the class was one group and half the class was the other group. But typically, most of the time, it was a 4 person group. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Will y'all be doing like a test at the beginning of the year, or going based of like the teachers' reports and referrals about the children to decide who's in what type of group? Or
Right. We'll continue to do map testing, and we'll also talk to previous year's teachers and look at the data that's coming to us, and we'll do map testing and other things to kind of see where they are right when we get them, to determine where they need to be. So we'll do some of those things that they do at North as well to help determine that. Yes, sir.
Would the parents have to drive me there, or would there be a bus?
We'll have buses. The buses we'll pick you up, take you home, just like North. And we're going to start and end at the same time. Start at 7:30, end at 2:30, both campuses. Yes, sir.
Oh, are we gonna have like yellow, orange, red, green, purple, as in like whenever we do something bad we have to go down?
We won't have a color chart. But we'll recognize those who do well, and those who don't do well, we'll deal with those students. But we get away from that more in middle school at both campuses. We don't really do the clip down color charts kind of thing. We have behavior referrals and things like that, where you start getting to more of a high school kind of nature.
Can you give us an example of a project and kind of how a group worked through one?
Sure. Well, one of the projects that, now I'll try to think of some that aren't mine, because I could talk to you all day about the projects I did, but one of the projects that I witnessed when I was at OIA that was pretty cool is social studies, learning about different civilizations. What they did is they created a board game where the different civilizations had to compete against each other based on things about that civilization. They got in contact with a guy from Alabama who made board games. He Skyped in to tell them, hey, you need to do this when you're making up the rules for your game, you need to have this. He got so into it, He created the game. You can buy it online right now. I taught computer science, and to meet our graphic design requirements, I created the logo for OIA. Students created it. They still use it today. Still on everything they print out, still on their shirts and stuff like that. The students created the logo to help meet our graphic design standards. I had another group of one of my projects is students had to create a downtown walking app where people visiting Owensboro could pick different locations, and it would pull up Google Maps and tell them how to get there and give them a description of where it was and if it cost to get in and a brief description of what it was covering. They created that app, and they gave it to the CVB that you could download it on Google Play, and student and visitors coming to Owensboro could have downloaded that app and used it. It's not available anymore, but it was 3 years ago, and they used it. So it's real world things that we want our community to use and participate. And what I loved about having the community come in, like, you know, CVB or the guy who did the board games, is they always want to do more. You know, I'm like, hey, guys, come in, just help me with this. And they're like, wait a second, let's do this, or I can use this. I used to have community members come in, and I say, listen, I just want you to introduce this project, give it some relevancy, say this. I'd give them a script. They'd read it, and they'd say, wow, I love this. I want to be a part of it. Can I come back and judge at the end? Can they come and give and show them my work? Can they do this? Our community's great. They're great about wanting to get in and help us educate, because it does take a village. And we've got a great village here. And that's what I loved about OIA is nobody ever said no. Every community member I asked said, yeah, had Red Pixel, when we did the logo, Red Pixel Studios came in, helped us out tremendously. Okay? So we want to make sure that we have the community helping us do what we need to do. Good. Other questions?
What is the dress code?
Dress code's going to be the same as North. Won't be uniforms, but you know, we expect certain requirements. I don't want to go through all of them, but you know, we got to have shorts are a certain length and no hats, those kind of things.
Things you can get Walmart, Penny's.
Yes,
whatever.
yeah, things that you can get most everywhere.
Okay.
You're exactly right. Won't be anything uniformish-y. That's right. I can also make up words too. That's right.
Mr. Moore, can you talk just a little bit to them about ECHO and what that is? And
Sure. ECHO is it's a learning management system provided through New Tech Network. That's part of our they provide this, and that allows us to an area where we put our grades, where we communicate with you guys. It's got the project library with the thousands of projects that we can look through based on content, and we can take those and modify those and use those. Connects us to other project-based learning schools and who's there, so we can call and ask them questions, or we can see what they're doing. You know, so that's part of the ECHO is kind of our online system that all students will have access to. So we'll deliver our projects out through ECHO. They'll log on and see all the projects and all the benchmarks and what they're expected to do. Students will use it, teachers will use it, and we use it to kind of connect us to the New Tech Network is what we do.
and also, parents, you will have a portal as well, just like you have an Infinite Campus, but you get lots more information. So the 5 things that he was talking about where students are graded, you as a parent can see how your child is doing in collaboration versus knowledge and thinking versus oral and written communication. So you can see each grade broken out, and then maybe you can work with them at home if they have an issue in a particular area. So I really like it.
Yeah.
You can see everything at a glance in that portal.
And one of the things that parents liked about it best when I was teaching at OIA was, you know, you could tell whether the student didn't know the content or whether they just weren't trying. That comes in the agency grade. So are they getting a low agency grade or are they getting a low knowledge and thinking grade? Do they not know it or they just don't want to do it? So that really helped us kind of focus what we needed to work with that student.
Will there be some type of weekly like newsletter? Like right now, I can get a paper from their teacher that tells us what they're focusing on that week. Will that same type of material be delivered?
And that can be also delivered through the ECHO program. Okay, there is a section that allows us to do that, to push out emails to you guys. We can do that. But yes, I plan on having weekly, monthly newsletters, weekly communication between teacher and student. Those can come through our Infinite Campus, through ECHO, through our newsletter. We'll have dojo points. We'll have a lot of things that you guys will be able to communicate with our teachers for. We want to have an open line because you guys are in it with us. So the more we communicate, the better. So we're all going to be in this together, that's for sure. Good question. Well, guys, I want to encourage you guys. We've got a website. If you go to Owensboro Public Schools website and you go to the schools tab where they list all the schools, iMiddle's now on there. So we have our own website. It's got a lot of the frequently asked questions on there. It's got a video. I would encourage you guys to do some more research on project-based learning. Talk about it. Decide what you think will be best for your child. Okay? We're going to release that application in a few weeks. We will let you guys know when we're going to do that. But there's also an interest survey. We have an interest survey on our website. If you guys want to know more, if you want to know when we push out more resources, if you want to receive an email when we're doing those things, fill out that interest form that's on there, and we'll keep on pushing you guys more resources to where you can learn about project-based learning, learn about new tech schools, learn about iMiddle. Okay? We're going to have this video right here on our website. You know, we have another video where the students from OIA talk about what they think about project-based learning. It's a good video. I encourage you to watch it. And then, like I said, we have a bunch of frequently asked questions that maybe you didn't think of tonight that they could be on that website. So take a look at it. I'm going to stick around, guys. If you have some questions you maybe want to talk about one-on-one, I'll be here. You guys, I know why the fifth graders were such a great audience Mondays, because they've got great parents at home. So you guys did a nice job here tonight. Thank you for getting out in this weather. Yes?
If you can't find the interest form on the website, it is on our district Facebook page.
There you go. District Facebook page. The old Facebook. All right, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. Be careful going home, please.